two strongest city-states in Greece was Athens and Sparta, and they aligned themselves with other states to become really two great powers in Greece. Athens was based on democracy. So if you was a citizen, you had to serve in the administration of the city, you had to serve as a sailor or soldier, you had to supply your own weapons. So it was usually the basic kit would be a helmet, a shield, a spear, maybe a sword if you could afford it, maybe body armour, and of course protection for your legs if you could afford it. In return, you got the chance to determine the city's future with a vote. And just below the city of Athens was an open forum where people discussed the topics of the day and then they would vote upon it. The Spartans were a whole different kettle of fish. They believed in the purebloods. So Spartan boys were trained as soldiers. So from the age of 7, they were sent off by their mothers to the Agora, which was up in the hills. And they would be trained as a bit like SAS, Special Forces, the finest soldiers in the world. It was all based on warfare. The girls went off down to the gymnasium. They would have to get fit. They would have to be able to use a javelin, bows and arrows, and of course, if they could, drive a chariot, because their husbands were going to be away from the homesteads most of the time. So they would have to defend it from any marauders. When the Spartans first went into the area called Mycenae, the first town they attacked was called Hellas. And they decided that they needed additional manpower. They enslaved all the Helots in Hellas. Helots were the slave captives of the Spartans. The other part of Spartan society were the Pecori. The Pecori were the managers and the merchants. They're the ones who supplied the army, organised everything. So you have two different systems, two different ideas. Eventually, these two powerful cities went to war. The first Peloponnesian War, which was a draw, and the second Peloponnesian War, the Spartans got funding from the Persians. Do you remember Artusus II? He funded the Spartans to build ships, blockade the city of Athens because they were relying on their navy to supply the city, and won the war and made them pull down the walls. With limited resources in the landscape, lots of conflicts early in the Greek civilization development happened. If you're getting a bit short on supplies, you went down the road to the next town with all your arms, you fought, you tried to get a few women, some more supplies, that sort of thing was going on. And these city-states were at war with each other for about 800 years. They're absolutely nuts. And they realised that it takes 16 years to grow a new soldier. So we need to do something about this. So the solution was to come up with games. And the first games were in 582 BCE. And when the games was declared, then no one in the country could go to warfare for 90 days. So if you were going to attend the games, you could travel through your enemy's territory. You got 30 days to do that. Most games lasted between 20 to 30 days. Then you had 30 days to travel home in safety after the games are finished. If anyone attacked you, if your enemies attacked you in your absence, then all the other city-states would go in and sort them out. So the first games were the games at Delphi, the Pythian games. The second games to be declared were the Corinthian games, as the Isthmian games. That was in 582 BCE. Then in 573 BCE, a third games were declared the Nemean games. And the last games were to be declared was in 776 BCE, the Olympian Games. And that's why the Olympic Games today is once every 4 years, because each of these cities and each of these games had their own turn. The Olympic Games lasted for the longest. They were really adopted by the Romans for 1,169 years. What the Greeks did was they made warfare into a game. The discus originated as a flat piece of stone which was thrown up to try and hit people on top of a city wall. The shot put was what they had on the wall, a ball to throw down to kill the people on the ground. Javelin was a spear. The high jump was to get over obstacles. The chariot racing, and also running with full body armour. So during a race, you carried your shield, you had your body armour on, you punched and kicked the other contestants as you ran the course. Must have been a lot of fun. The chariot racing, they banned the Spartan women. So that shows how capable Spartan women were. The fourth golden age of Greece is all the wonderful things they gave to Western civilization. So let's have a look at Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, supposedly written in 800 BCE. Then we have the investigation. The Greeks are investigators. They investigated medicine, logic, physics, government. They investigated places. They wanted to know where they were in their landscape and where they were in their world. So let's start off with Pythagoras. Gave us mathematics, 580 BCE. Herodotus, history, 484 BCE. Socrates, hypothesis, 470 BCE. Plato, he opened an academy, and that academy was open until 529 ACE, 913 years. So the first academy in the world, thinkers. Then we have Aristotle. Aristotle was supposedly the tutor for Alexander the Great. He invented physics, ethics, politics, economics, and thousands of other things. The Greeks asked questions of their environment and the world in which they lived. And that's what makes them so different from other people in the ancient world. They were not going to just survive. They were investigating. They were learning all the time. And that's what makes them so different. Well, I hope you enjoyed the content. I hope it was slightly entertaining. If you liked it, well, first of all, please could you press the subscribe button if you already have not done so. Thumbs up if you liked it, and leave a comment, and I'll certainly look at the comments, and thank you for watching. Take care. Bye for now. See you soon.